Patients have to be at the heart of everything for a number of very good reasons. So the most important one is that it really is part of the business case for clinical commissioning groups. They will not be able to do their job properly unless patients, carers and communities are involved in what they do. There's a moral issue. We pay for our healthcare, so we should be involved in designing it, planning it and monitoring it. And there's a political reason too. Actually, we won't be able to make changes in CCGs unless we have the people on our side.
Up until now, people have only become interested in the NHS when they've come to use it. Too often people have found their experience to be not as good as it could be or should be. We want to change that, and we want to get people's interest in the NHS even when they aren't consuming NHS services, so that they help us shape the NHS and help us all make the NHS really as good as it can be, which is actually the best in the world given the system that we have.
I want people in CCGs to feel excited about this as a concept. It can be an incredibly rewarding experience if you get this right, and I really want people to hear that there is real merit in doing this well, because you will have a good experience. It will help you target your resources more effectively, and you will build up trust and a relationship with your local community that will help you to make better decisions in the future.
It's a question really of having the T-shirt, having been there and experienced in it. And I think on reflection you can see ways in which news could be broken to you in a better way, or that treatment could be delivered in a more patient-friendly way. I'm not unhappy at all with the treatment I've had, but sometimes the way it's delivered could be improved.
There'll always be people that are that find change difficult, but it's very important that if we're going to make changes in a credible way, that we do hear everybody's views, and that will include some people who are simply opposed to any change whatsoever. But our experience is that if you gather a range of views, talk to a range of different people, you'll bring out the best solutions to challenges in the end.
If you harness the interest, the concern, the power of local people, it really makes a difference to getting things done locally. One way of getting a very broad view of what local people think is to develop a database. So I work in Lewisham, and the link in Lewisham has developed a database into which we put a whole range of different kinds of patient experience. So these are comments from patients that are picked up during GP surgeries. We have PALS data, we have complaints, we have audits from the hospital. So we can now say these are the top 5 issues for local people in relation to our local hospital. These are the top 5 issues for general practice. And we can start using that to commission things differently. It's a very exciting prospect.
We have now got to move away from decisions made about services by anonymous people in anonymous offices and move instead to open and shared decision making about exactly what the NHS is going to provide and exactly what people will be expected to do for themselves in looking after themselves.
I think what we've tended to do in the past is try to do it in several small ways. So for example, in primary care, general practitioners talking to individual patients about their care, very important. And perhaps patient participation groups at practice level. But what we've never done particularly well is that large-scale involvement of patients and the public around the whole structure and system of the NHS.
Brief guides, I think, are a really good way in which that has been done around patient and public involvement, and as I understand it, people are finding them very useful. I think being brief, precise and supportive to people is really, really helpful.
Change of ethos to really trying to get patients and the public empowered to take ownership of their own health, really. And I think the only way to do that is by engaging better and getting people when they're well again. So I think really CCGs are going to struggle if they don't do this. I would hope that that would drive them to work hard on it, but I think they'll fall down if they don't do that.
We have to find a way of energising and inspiring local people in the community and letting them know that they have the potential to influence decisions And to what degree, being honest about the degree to which they can influence those decisions. I think that's really important.
I think the way in which service is delivered at the moment tends to be very segmented. You have treatment in acute care in your hospital, and then you're discharged, you go into the community. And I think it's the integration of those services, a number of different suppliers, a number of different services, and it seems as though they don't tie together very well. So I'm hoping that the future and the way in which these services are being commissioned in the future will help to make sure that that's a much smoother journey for patients.
We're getting really pretty good at understanding what people are telling us. We're still not very good at actually making the changes in commissioning that information gives us.
So we need to be making sure that the care that we're commissioning, the care that everyone's delivering, is appropriate, convenient, accessible, all those words that we can trot out, but only mean something if actually the patient experiences colouring those words.
We need to really get people out there interested in their health, but interested in the decisions that are being made about their health. And we need to let them know how they can do that, how they can engage. We need to find lots of ways of helping them to engage and making it easy for them to do that. We've got to look radically at different ways of engaging people now, making sure we reach out to all sections of the population.
Moving on from that, we've had a few other little consultations, one on through our website, and another through patients wanting to be involved via email. So we've got different ways. We've not just got the patient group that sits in a room now, although that's now bigger and better than it was. We've also got a group of patients who are professionals who will consult with us via email.
This process of patient and public involvement is a collective activity. So I think not only has it got to be part of everybody's job in a CCG, and I would recommend that all people have that in their job descriptions, but also we do need to work with the centre too.
One of the dilemmas is going to be, under commissioning, the doctors are all looking at outcomes, clinical outcomes, but I think when the patients have a voice, then it might bring other dimensions to the equation. Things never improve if you just go for somebody who's always going to agree with you.
So you do need, if you like, patients on their side, but you need also those patients that you're involving to understand what the priorities are, that the fact there is only limited resources and that hard decisions have to be made, but that you need the patient experience and the patient voice, to use jargon, part of that commissioning and decommissioning decision, so that you can be fair and you can work out the factors that describe that fairness. So it isn't just about money, it isn't just about safety, it isn't just about quality, that you're taking in all the factors that should be considered in that balance between commissioning new services, improving services and decommissioning services.
Well, I think there's a huge desire within the National Health Service to involve patients, and I must confess that came as a surprise to me. When I first started getting involved, I wondered whether it would be a tick box exercise, and I found that there's an enthusiasm to understand what patients want. And I think we have a responsibility, those of us who have survived cancer, if you like, we have a responsibility to feed our thoughts back into the system and try and influence things for future cancer patients.
People will march in the streets over the closure of an institution, but nobody's marching in the streets because somebody 3 miles away from them lives 10 years less than they do. And I think if we can begin to see health and social care services in that broader context, then we'll have been successful then.
Because at the end of the day, we are all patients. We want what's best for ourselves and our families.
Patient and public involvement needs to be central to the business case for every clinical commissioning group. Essentially, if you lose your population, you lose the plot.